If you've ever faked knowing where north is, don't worry, AI has you covered. Welcome back to AI-powered mapping for the ArcGIS web developer. Today we're going to let AI act like our little tour guide for a 3D scene. All right, we've got this HTML file already set up for us. So let's go ahead and look a bit at the setup before we get into the JavaScript. So we first have an ArcGIS scene component, and this gives us a 3D globe view centered over, in this case, San Francisco. Now inside of that, I have already added a zoom control, a compass, a navigation toggle so you can switch between pan and rotate, and a search bar up in the top right. Now under the scene, there's this little AI compass card. It has a heading pill that shows the current direction, a block of text where we'll show the AI's description, a status line, and a button that says Ask AI about this view. All of the layout and styling for the scene and the card is already wired up in the CSS. So now let's go ahead and jump straight into the JavaScript. So first, I'm going to set up a constant for my Gemini API key. Now, reminder, in a real application, I would hide this on a server, but for the purposes of this demo, I'm going to keep it here. Next, I want to grab references to the pieces of the page that I care about. And these are scene L, coach heading L, coach text L, coach status L, and ask AI button. Okay, so next I'm going to write a heading to direction function, which takes a heading and returns a compass direction. So inside of here, I normalize the angle into the range 0 through 360, then divide by 45 degrees to figure out which of the 8 directions I should use. So, for example, if the heading is about 0, this returns north. And if the heading is about 90-ish, then this is going to return east, and so on. Okay, so next I'm going to write the main function that talks to Gemini, and we'll call it Ask Gemini About View. Inside, I grab the scene view from the component, read the camera, and pull out the heading plus the camera position for longitude and latitude. Then I turn the heading into a compass label, update the heading pill, and set the status to show that I am calling Gemini. I also disable the button so the user cannot spam it. All right, so now I'll build the prompt string. I'll include the longitude, latitude, and heading, and I'm going to ask Gemini to describe the region and suggest one thing to look out for. All right, so after that, I will call Gemini's HTTP endpoint with fetch. I will pass in my API key and send the prompt in the body. And when I get the response back, I will pull out the text from the first candidate. And if there's no text, simply fall back to a default message. So finally, I drop that text into the card, update the status, and re-enable the button. To finish this up, I'm going to call scenel.viewOnReady, and that really just waits until the 3D scene is fully ready before I hook everything up. Now inside that callback, I set an initial status message, and this is going to tell the user what to do. Move or rotate, then press the button. Then I listen for the ArcGIS view change event on the scene. So every time the camera changes, I read the current heading from view.camera, turn it into a compass direction with heading to direction, and update the little pill so it always shows the direction you're facing. So finally, I'm going to wire the button's click handler to Ask Gemini About View. So when the user likes the view and clicks the button, that function runs and sends the camera info off to Gemini. All right, let's go ahead and try this out now. So I'm going to go ahead and test out Seattle. Once the map zooms there, I'll click the Ask AI button, and a nice description of our view is given. All right, we now have our 3D scene where AI acts like a small little compass coach and gives us some information about our surroundings. Be sure to come back tomorrow for some fun AI and mapping combinations. Happy coding!